your milk rolls, you want to add all of your ingredients together, and the dough should start to pick up from the sides of the bowl. It will start to clear the sides of the bowl. So I know that it's going to look very sticky, but be patient because it actually will start to form a beautiful ball once the gluten develops. Start to clear the bowl and clean the sides by itself. You might have to use your spatula to scrape it down once in a while. We are starting our 6 to 8 minutes at this point, and we're going to check for dough development.
6 minutes of mixing on speed 2. I'm actually removing this from the bowl only so that I can show you on the video better. But you would leave it inside of your mixer, and then you want to pull the dough. This is called the window pane test. And what we're doing is we're testing for the development. So you want to stretch the dough as thin as you can, and you want to see a window, and you want to poke through it without it tearing. Now this has only been 6 minutes. Usually this dough takes about 6 to 8 minutes. So it's right on the light end. I'm going to give it about 1 more minute maximum of mixing, and I'm going to show you the difference, how thin I can stretch it without it tearing. After 1 more minute of mixing, I'm going to remove my dough from the bowl. It removes very easily because it's kind of got that non-stick quality about it due to all of the fat in there from the butter. And I want to show you how nice and soft this dough is and how you do the window pane. So what you want to do is just take from the edge and just stretch that dough nice and easy. Let it do the work for you. And then you want to just kind of stretch that out. And again, you want to use your finger through the back of it and see if it holds itself. Now, right here, I'm getting it too thin, so I'm tearing it. But you just want to do this, and it should hold a really nice shape like this. That's what you're looking for. That's plenty good for what we need for our window pane. So what I'm going to do is give it just a few kneads to make it nice and smooth and create my seam on the bottom of the dough. Place it into a lightly oiled bowl and let this rise until it's doubled. Again, smooth and elastic, lightly oiled bowl, top down, bottom, and then seam up. Let this rise, cover it with some plastic wrap until it is doubled in size. After your dough has doubled, you can punch it down and let it rise again, or you can go ahead and place it right onto your cutting board. You do not really need flour when you're working with this type of dough because it is a very non-stick dough. So we're going to remove that gently from the bowl. And by removing it, you kind of punch it down anyway, so you don't really need to punch that dough to get the air out. So what I'm trying to do is make an even surface for cutting, so I can cut strips out of this and cut about 12 rolls. They're going to be approximately 2 ounces. So if you're looking to be extremely accurate, you definitely want to weigh it, but I am just going to cut strips out of this dough. And then I'm going to cut pieces that are about the same weight. So again, if you're unsure about the sizes, please make sure you do place them on a scale. So I have about 11 here. Again, if I would cut a little bit off of a couple more, they're probably not all exactly the same weight, but then I will achieve my 12 that I'm looking for. So anytime you handle the dough, you want to let it rest in between going to the next step. And we always want to start the next step with the first one that we did that progression with. So with this, I could pre-shape them, but this dough is so soft, it's not really necessary. We are going to roll these into round. When you're ready to roll out your dough, you can take 1 or 2 of the first rolls. You want to create a backward C shape with your hands. This part of your hand will be rubbing against the counter, putting pressure down into the board, basically towards the floor. You're going to push with your thumb on the dough so that you tuck the seams up under and it creates a nice tight ball. What we're looking for is that seam to be up underneath. Once again, no added flour because we want the dough to grip to the board, and it creates a non-stick surface because of the butter in the dough. So I'm in a backward C. If you are left-handed, you're going to go opposite and you're going to go into a forward C. Now I am turning the dough. The dough is turning clockwise, but my hand is going counterclockwise. Once again, a nice tight ball. You keep going from the first dough that you cut in that order. Keep trying this. What you do not want to do is put your hand on top and move it around like this. That's not doing anything. This will actually create this tension on the surface of the dough and pull that dough up underneath itself, creating a tight seam. We're going to do this for all of our rolls. If you have the intention of making a clover leaf roll, you want to roll this into a little log and cut 3 equal pieces. Then each of these will be rolled, I should say, into some small balls. So the same motion, but your hand instead of a C is almost like this so that it can accommodate the smaller piece of dough. Roll 3 of those the same, and then we will place those together in a moment. Once again, rolling into a log, cutting 3 pieces, and rolling into a ball. When making your clover leaves, you want to lightly spray or oil a muffin pan. Take the 3 small balls together with your seams on the bottom and gently place them into the muffin pan. If you would like to create a design of a shark's tooth, we want to make this into more of an oval shape. We're going to push with the bottom of our palm of our hand forward and then pull back slightly. And that will create an oval shape to our bread. We're going to place all of our doughs onto a parchment lined sheet pan. Once again, pushing forward and pulling backwards. Pushing forward and pulling backwards. Once our doughs have their final shape, we want to let these rest until they rise to 1.5 times their size. So cover these, place them in a warm space, and let them rise one more time. Once your dough has proofed to 1.5 times its original size, you can see it puffing up over the edge of the muffin pan. I want to take some egg wash. So I've just taken 1 egg, 1 whole egg, beaten it up really well with a fork, and I have a pastry brush. Very, very gently go ahead and brush the tops of the rolls, making sure you get into most of the grooves. You do not need a heavy egg wash, you just need to glaze all of it. I like to use a whole egg. It contributes shine and color. If you use just egg white, it will give you just shine, and if you use just yolk, it will give you more browning without the shine. Some people like to dilute it with water, but I really like that nice shine to my rolls. So after it's egg washed, you can leave them plain, or you can sprinkle them with some seeds, and that leaves a really nice contrast when we bake it as well. So I'll leave that one with seeds and those plain. And then you want to take your other rolls that we have let risen, and these I'm going to remain as is, but go ahead and again, egg wash all of the roll. I'm going to leave 1 un-egg wash so you can see the difference of how dry it will look when we're done baking. So if you'd like to apply seeds at this point, you can do the same thing by sprinkling the seeds on the top. Those look really nice. And for these rolls, we're going to always egg wash first, and then there's a technique where we cut them with the scissors to give us the shark tooth. So I will egg wash and I will utilize my scissors. I'm going to place my scissors down at an angle. Remember, every time you cut, the dough will open up 90 degrees from that cut. So if I cut it straight on, the dough will open wide this way. So I'm going to go and give my dough a slight cut. Now, if you're looking to do a seeded dough, you want to seed it first and then cut it. I'm going to place these rolls immediately into my preheated oven. I have it at 380 degrees and we're going to bake these for about 10 to 12 minutes until they're a nice golden brown. When your rolls come out of the oven, then you want to place them on a cooling rack and let them completely cool and then serve them. These are our cloverleaf rolls. Here are our shark tooth ovals in seeded and plain. You can see the nice shine from the egg wash. This is the perfect example of what happens when you do not egg wash your bread. It has that dry look to it. It's completely edible and it's still very soft, but it definitely does not have that shine. So don't forget to egg wash, and it also allows you to stick seeds and cheese and all sorts of things onto the top of the rolls. These are your milk rolls.